Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today it's a new CGC 9.8 market update video. I got a bunch of 9.8s here and some prices to get through. But if you're actively buying CGC 9.8 comic books, one of the best things you can do is just know the fair market value for the 9.8 you might want and get more pricing information and way less of a chance you'll ever overpay. And because there's certainly always some sellers on eBay trying to get like way more money for a 9.8 than the fair value. So you can't be that naive. You gotta do some pricing research and be patient and stay on top of your searches, and then maybe in like a month or two you can get the 9.8 you might want for a really good price. I got today 21 CGC 9.8s to talk about, and some hot ones, some cold ones. Yeah, we'll get right into some market commentary as well. All US dollars, all the prices we'll talk about, and I got a full list in the description below if you want a quick look of the books and the prices. Okay, so first one up here is a Star Wars Heir to the Empire #1. Yeah, start off here with a pretty hot book, and I think most people know that, yeah, they said Admiral Thrawn's name in the last Mandalorian episode. So this book is just really heating up off of that, and I thought some of the prices were pretty interesting, and some of the price history we'll look at is pretty interesting too. Yeah, I'm kind of happy I had recommended this one on a couple videos sort of before this announcement. So, but a couple selling here. One, like sort of right after the announcement, was $965, and so there were quite a few that it's kind of sold around that $1,000 level, you know, right after the announcement. And certainly there were, I think, some people even getting in on the really cheap ones right after the episode hit, which I believe was like at 1 a.m. or something like that. So 965 I was seeing, what was it? I saw an auction just in the last couple days here, 1,508 in an auction. So I think that's a good example of like when auctions are bad on like a really, really hot book. Usually like a bidding war can start out, and that's definitely an all-time high for this book. And I mean, yeah, it just gives you an idea of how much the promo and the shows and the movies, like once his name was uttered on the show, now the price is like 3 times as much, basically. I also saw a newsstand copy in the 9.8 sell for $1,700. So these were, I put it on our $500 budget video, this one, yeah. This was one to recommend, you know, basically they were about $425 to $450 for, you know, the last, you know, 6 to 12 months almost. I think even before that, you could probably conceivably maybe even get it cheaper. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where the prices go moving forward here. I don't really recommend you get in here and buy this one. You know, it was one we recommended at $425, but once they heat up, you know, it's one for me, like I missed it. I do not have this one, unfortunately. I didn't take my own advice, yeah. But Heir to the Empire, I'd imagine Admiral Thrawn's going to be in a couple seasons here. So this book is, if you bought it before this rise, congrats. I think this will be a good long-term one to just hold. And, you know, Admiral Thrawn's going to be all in these episodes for like the next couple years probably. So this is just one to hold on to and enjoy, certainly if you bought it before this rise in price. Okay, next one here is a cool book. It's a Wolverine #88 in the CGC 9.8. But one sold in the non-deluxe version, the more rare non-deluxe version. So the more common ones were the deluxe version. This is one of my favorite 90s books. I have 3 of them in the 9.8, but they're the deluxe version, the like easier one to find. So one in the non-deluxe version sold. The difference is, all it says, it doesn't say deluxe on the cover, and it's a bit of a different price. It's a little bit lower price, that's it. So the non-deluxe, more rare version of Wolverine 88 in the CGC 9.8 sold in an auction for $410. But interesting with this one, this book really has heated up lately. I'm not sure the seller did not note in the title that this was the non-deluxe version, because you barely can tell. So I didn't think he knew he was selling the more rare version. I think this is a great price for this more rare version, especially since I think the deluxe versions have reached this sort of level. Like they've been like $375, $350-ish lately, because a lot of people are really, you know, speculating on Wolverine and Deadpool getting into the MCU, especially since those Deadpool rumors have heated up. So $410 for the more rare version of this book, I think is a great price. I have a feeling, like, if Wolverine and Deadpool ever fought it out in the MCU, you could probably sell this one for like, during that time, for like $1,400 or something. Like this is the more rare version of Wolverine 88, and it's a pretty tough one as it is to get in the 9.8. So yeah, great buy. This one was actually someone on the team. Yeah, it was Brett on the team buying this one for $410. So a great buy, I think. A cool one we'll get into here. It's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, number 9. Yeah, we'll start off with a couple Star Wars books here. This is the first full appearance of Revan. I love this cover, I gotta say. This is one that I really thought the cover was awesome, and had saw it was the first appearance of Revan about 6 to 8 months ago. I'd put it on a Star Wars video we did and stuff like that. But back then it was there was maybe 10 or 15 on the census. So I looked this morning, I think it was 62 in the blue label 9.8s now. So a lot of these are kind of getting graded. So I saw 2 of them in the 9.8 sell, for one for $990 and one for $999, so $1,000. And like I was looking at the 9.8 ratio, and it's about 50%. So that's decent for a modern book, but not too rare. So I don't know if this one's worth paying up considerably for. I would say right around $1,000. I mean, there's a lot you can get for $1,000 in the 9.8. Like an Amazing Spider-Man 252. You could buy a nice one, CGC 9.8, for this money. Now, there's way less of these. I get, it's certainly more of a rare book, but I have a feeling this one could, with only a 50% 9.8 ratio, maybe if it was a little more rare, these prices would certainly be justified. And even like an Ultimate Fallout 4 you can grab for this money, even though there's way more of those in the 9.8. But I have a feeling this one could kind of get into the 700, 750 area over the next year or two here, or something like that. Unless Revan gets into Mandalorian or some, promo, then all bets are off. This is one to get, and it skyrockets. But I do really like this one, and I'm trying to be a bit strategic maybe and wait for pullbacks in price or something like that. But Knights of the Old Republic 9, first full appearance of Revan in the 9.8. One selling for $990 and another for $999, so $1,000 we'll call it. Next one I thought was just a great buy that stood out. It's a Punisher Limited Series, number 1. It's a signature series though, in the 9.8, this one. And it was quad signed, yeah. So it was, it was John Beatty, Mike Zeck, and Mike Zeck signed it twice. But it just looked really eye-appealing, the signatures as well. New case, CGC 9.8. This one sold for $674. I think with the Force, like it didn't have Stan Lee's signature, but for 4 signatures that looked really cool on this book, I think this one, I'd probably pay about $500 for the blue label. So to get all 4 of those signatures for $174 seems like a good deal for me. This is one I really like this cover, and I don't have many Punisher 9.8s, and this is kind of one I've wanted to add. So, but to see the signature series go, I thought that was a really good deal. 4 times signed for $674. All right, next one. I saw another signature series. It was Merc with a Mouth, number 7, the second print sell, signed by Rob Liefeld. So yeah, pretty much the same book that you see here. I kind of jumped on this one after I had a look at this one, and wow, great cover. It's first Lady Deadpool, this one. And on this kind of more rare second print variant, you get Rob Liefeld doing the cover artwork with Lady Deadpool on the cover. So one to get signed by him I thought was really cool. That's why I purchased this one. But same thing, sold for $355. So I'm pretty sure I paid $399. Yeah, plus like decent shipping to Canada it was. So this is probably a little bit better deal here on this one. But given that, I had mentioned I looked on the census, there's only like, I think it was 10 or 12 the last time I looked. So yeah, it might even be single digits, but a pretty rare one. So I actually think that's a really good buy. Yeah, 2 signature series books here that were pretty rare, very cool. I think good buys there. This one, $355 for Deadpool Merc with a Mouth, number 7, second print, signed by Rob Liefeld. Okay, next one is a bit of a hot book that, maybe we'll talk about the prices, but it's a Marvel Age number 97. This one's the a preview of Darkhawk before he came out in the comic book kind of thing in Marvel Age. And he's on the cover, so I could see how it's pretty collectible. However, there are like some rumors here, and I don't know if it was a confirmation or what, that there's going to be a Darkhawk show or a movie or something like that. So, this is one that literally, I think before these rumors, you could have grabbed this one for, maybe $70 in an auction in the CGC 9.8. There weren't very many of them because it wasn't just that popular, but Now, I saw one sell for $399.99, so $400. Yeah, I think this is just an overpay for sure, but a cool one. Like, it's, you know, it's certainly one that under $100 before I would have thought it's an amazing buy. And I do like Darkhawk. Yeah, I kind of wish I grabbed a Darkhawk one when they were about $100. But now with these rumors heating up, and who knows, like maybe it's just a rumor and it never happened, like nothing really happens with Darkhawk. You never really know. I think at $400 it might be a bit of a stretch here for Marvel Age 97. Yeah, one selling for $399.99. Just a pretty hot book right now that I would probably be patient on. Next one's Alias #1. Yeah, first appearance of Jessica Jones. I've recommended this one right now as like a cold book that you can get in there and buy for a pretty decent price. Because, yeah, during her Netflix show there when it was out and this was doing pretty well, these were like $250 to $300 pretty much in the 9.8. One sold for $199.99. Yeah, and these are, you know, at that price with the big first appearance. The show was a hit, so maybe they bring the show back or maybe they introduce her on the big screen. You know, that would be kind of cool. But that's basically about the fair value. I think, you know, $180 to $200 is a really good price for this one right now. And if you're a Jessica Jones fan, I'd kind of recommend buying right now. This is one you can get at a fair price. Alias #1 for $200. Young Avengers #1, the next book here. Yeah, this is first appearance of like Kate Bishop, and you get all the Young Avengers in there. And there's like, I don't know if it's confirmations or whatever it is, but there might be some Young Avengers shows on the horizon. But one selling for $398.99 and another selling for $405. Yeah, the prices are getting up there for this one, and I think there's probably some more rare 9.8s in the modern era to consider besides this one, but right around $400 for a Young Avengers one in the 9.8 if you want it. Wolverine #8's the next one I saw sell. Yeah, classic 8. This is like on the short list of like classic cover 80s comics that are really collectible, I think. And it's still pretty affordable. Yeah, this is one I really recommended, and I'm seeing one sell here for $239.95. Yeah, that's getting up there. That's you know, I was under the impression right now, kind of if you wait for an auction, they're about $200. These ones, this one. Yeah, I have one of these in the 9.8, and I always wanted to grab another one or two because it's just one of those memorable 80s covers from my childhood that I wouldn't mind having more of. And yeah, the prices are doing pretty good on this one. And yeah, even at $239.95, I would wait for closer to $200. Be patient. Wait for an auction and hopefully get this one for like $210, $205 maybe. But I like Wolverine #8 in the CGC 9.8, so I'm kind of happy seeing it get up to about $240 there, we'll call it. Next one here is Spider-Man #1 in the newsstand. Yeah, this is the polybagged version, like the normal version, but in the newsstand, so certainly a little more rare than all the other ones, the direct versions. I thought it was a good price this one sold for in an auction, CGC 9.8, $102.01. You know, that's basically going for like similar prices to like the Clayton Crane facsimile ones, so I'd much rather have this one in the more rare newsstand, so I think this is a really good buy. Spider-Man #1, kind of the normal version, Todd McFarlane cover, early 90s, the newsstand polybagged version for $102.01. I think is a pretty decent price. So yeah, I have one of these Spider-Man #1s that was a gift from the McFarlane collector team member, Tony out there. But this would kind of be a cool one at that price, I think. But yeah, maybe one to look out for if you want a Spider-Man #1. Okay, next one is Thor God of Thunder #2. This is the modern book, and it's the first appearance of Gore the God Butcher. Yeah, pretty popular modern villain, and this one went in an auction for $173.43 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, that's right around a good fair value for this one if you wanted it. And yeah, I could see if you're a villains guy and if you were into this book when it came out or something, certainly you might want this one. I think that's the fair value. This is not one I've really considered, but you know, not too bad, and I think the fair value is right around that $173.43. Okay, next one here is Thor #5, and the 1 of 25 Ribic variant. I had saw a couple sell here. And yeah, interesting with the Thor #5, it's the first full appearance of Black Winter with Donny Cates just tweeting here in the last week that he's not done at all with Black Winter, like not even close, I think it was, or something he said. So off of the back of that, all these Black Winter books started heating up, and I was a bit bummed because I wanted to get my Thor number 5 first print, but now, you know, they're probably going to be about $100 or over, I would say. It'll be interesting, you know, maybe I could still swing that for a decent price in the next month or two, but seeing the most rare variant of the Thor number 5 first full appearance of Black Winter, cool ribbit cover, $385 one sold for, and $389.99 another one sold for. So these were like, before Donny Cates tweeted, these were like $290, $300-ish. So maybe, yeah, they're heating up a little bit now, the Thor number 5s, and I'd expect a little bit of a lull before the Black Winter comes back, but I do think the Black Winter's gonna come back. So next one here is an Avenging Spider-Man number 90. It's the first Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. This is a pretty cool modern one to collect, actually. I've considered this one in the past when I've saw a couple, like maybe one or two pop up at like decent prices that I've almost purchased this one. Saw one sell for $329.95. That's probably about fair price for this one. I think occasionally you'll see one sell for around $400, but sometimes if you're really patient in auction, I've seen this one kind of $280-ish. But usually it's right around this $329.95. I think this one was a buy it now, so a fairly priced buy it now. And Avenging Spider-Man number 9. Certainly, if you're into the Captain Marvel movies and you're a Captain Marvel fan, this is kind of the one to get. The one I would recommend. Cool cover too, pretty collectible. So yeah, hopefully closer to $300, but one sold $329.95. A couple more Star Wars books here. So it's a Star Wars Kanan The Last Padawan number 1. This one had kind of cooled off with, I think, most people thinking, you know, maybe Ren's in the next couple seasons, but not going to be in season 2. This is kind of Ahsoka Tano and Admiral Thrawn's season, I would assume. But so this book kind of cooled off a little bit to where I grabbed one for a 173, I think it was, or something like that. 175, we'll call it. Seeing a couple sell here. One for $209.99 and one for $250. So I think, yeah, I really think at that point, a ton of them were coming back from CGC being graded 9.8 when I had purchased mine. And there seemed to be a lot of supply on eBay. But I think the supplies may be tightening up a little bit. And this is probably the range for the book, like $210 to $250 for Kanan number 1. It is the first appearance of Sabine Wren. Although it's really kind of brief, it's just the first page and then that's it, basically, of the comic. So yeah, I would say that's the fair price, though. It is still the first appearance, and it's a cool book, I think. From $210 to $250 is the price range. So Kanan The Last Padawan number 6 is becoming a lot more collected, I think, because number 1 has such a brief appearance. 6 got a really good cover, too, so I saw a couple of those sell as well. This is basically the first full appearance of Ren and Ezra Bridger and the gang, kind of. So one sold for $303. And another one for $399.99. So I think that's kind of the range too for this one. You know, maybe if you're lucky you get Kanan 6 on under $300, but right around $300 for, yeah, I think this one's a little bit more collected than Kanan 1, despite it not being the first app. Yeah, Kanan number 6 right around $300. It might be worth a purchase here, or at least keep an eye on it and see if there's some lulls in the next 6 months to a year. And then, you know, you can get in there and get this one at a great price, thinking that hopefully in the 3rd season, Ren shows up, and this book would certainly be a lot more than these prices. Okay, next one's a really cool one. Ultimate Fallout for, yeah, first appearance of Miles Morales, but the 2nd print I saw sell. The Mark Bagley 2nd print. I really like this one. So Ultimate Fallout 4 2nd print for $246.50. Yeah, this is one where, you know, it was kind of getting close to 200. I saw a couple of them sell there, and it was lulling. You know, pulling back a bit from sort of the Miles fever like 6 months ago it was, I guess. This one I pulled back, and yeah, I think 200 to 250. I think it's going to be pretty tough to get this one or closer to 200 probably now. I think there was kind of a temporary, maybe 1 or 2 sold. But right, yeah, $246.50. I think this makes sense right now. Yeah, certainly if, you know, maybe Ultimate Fallout 4, the first print's out of your budget in the 9.8, that's like $900. So you get a really cool one. You see his face in this one, so there's kind of reason to collect it, I think. It's a cool take on the first print. For $246.50 is a really cool collector item, I think. I got one of these too in the 9.8. Yeah, I really like that one. Okay, next one, Batman, The Killing Joke. Yeah, in the CGC 9.8. There's so many of these out there, so you see quite a few of these sell, and this one hasn't really done too much in price since I've been collecting, to be honest. I think because there's so many out there. So $229.95, I saw one sell. I think that's pretty much bang on fair value. You know, 200, I find to get it under 200 is a really good deal now. You know, it lulled there about a year ago where you could sometimes get one for about 150, but I don't think that's doable now. You know, 200 the lower end, 229.95 is not too bad either. For a Killing Joke, yeah, I have one in the 9.8. Just I'm a huge Batman, huge Joker fan, but I don't really expect it to be like super rare or to go up in price or that much or anything, because there's a lot of these out there. And you know, if it was gonna go up in price, it would have went off the Joker movie, I think. And it didn't do too much off the Joker. Like there was a little bit of a spike, but nothing too much. I was surprised actually. But if you want a Killing Joke, one sold for $229.95, hopefully closer to 200. Just because there are so many of them. Next one, I saw Venom #3 in the 3rd print sell. Yeah, so we made a video just you know, last week or whatever it was about, you know, like seeing this one go from 800 to one selling for $399.99. I was like, okay, now's the time where you just want to think about buying and getting in there and looking for a pullback and, you know, having your eye out to possibly buy this one. In an auction, one went for $493. But, you know, even sort of as I made that video, I think I kind of downplayed that Null's coming back in the King in Black new comic books. So I think there was maybe a little bit of a lull there, but then the King in Black, all those King in Blacks were released. They're being released basically right now. So, you know, maybe this one's heating up a tad and you might still just want to be patient, but it's still not going to be like 800 or anything. So this is one where if you want it, you know, now to kind of put the blinders up for the next 4 months and really be on top of your searches. And, you know, I'd probably wait here about a month, to be honest, just wait for the King in Black stuff to subside. And then really be on it about getting one closer to 400, I think would be a pretty great buy for a Venom 3 3rd print. Yeah, first full appearance of Null, the great 3rd print cover, that's pretty low printed, and the cover's awesome. So, yeah, that's one to consider for sure. Oh, okay, yeah, the next one's an odd one. Like, I don't think I ever saw this one. It's a Marvel Previews number 95. So it's the first appearance of Miles Morales, but it predates Ultimate Fallout 4 in like a preview. This Marvel Previews 95 in the CGC 9.8. Saw it sell in an auction. I didn't look on the census today for these ones, but I'd be interested to see what it says on the census, because it sold for $7,418. Yeah, this Marvel Previews number 95, which apparently predates Ultimate Fallout 4, so it's the first ever appearance of Miles Morales, I guess. $7,418. Yeah, that's a lot of money. A lot of books you can get for that price. Interesting there, but I saw it sell. Yeah, Marvel Previews number 95. Okay, yeah, so next one here is kind of in that same vein as the last book here. It's Comic Scene number 2. This one's from 1988. I saw it sell in the CGC 9.8. So you get a Venom preview in this book. And I'm not sure if this is like, you know, the first appearance of Venom before. It's just a Venom preview from 1988. A cool McFarlane cover, though. Yeah, just a Spider-Man on the cover and kind of simple. But yeah, you don't see too many kind of simple McFarlane covers. But I really love this cover. So it sold for $310. Yeah, it was a buy it now in Canada, actually, for about, I think it was $400 or a little bit more. And ends up being about $310 US for this Comic Scene number 2 in the 9.8. I'd really enjoy having this one. If I would have saw this auction, I did not, I would have been pretty tempted. Yeah, a cool McFarlane cover with maybe the first appearance of Venom ever for $310 in a Comic Scene number 2. I didn't look on the census this morning. I bet there's like, you know, less than 10 would be my guesstimate. Okay, last book here, yeah, last one, number 21. An Amazing Spider-Man 252. Yeah, first black costume, ties with first black costume. Amazing Fantasy 15 cover homage on this one. Yeah, so collectible. Amazing Spider-Man 252 in a newsstand version. I saw sell for $985. So yeah, this, you know, this being around $1,000 now. You know, about 6 to 12 months ago. Yeah, we'll call it 12 months ago now. Yeah, this one was, you know, $450 to $500. Even there last year, I was really saying to go after this one when it was under 400 for a couple months there, kind of there was a bit of a summer lull and kind of a summer fall lull before everything started to heat up a little bit. And yeah, this one was about 400 or under. Now it's 985 in the newsstand version 1 selling for. So, everything Black Costume, Venom, Symbiote is heating up with a Venom 2 coming out next year. You might want to be patient on this one. Although, this is like, when I think of just an 80s book to want and get in the 9.8, this is like near the top of my list. So it's certainly one to get, but, he might want to wait for possibly 6 to 12 months after the Venom 2 movie. Maybe you'll get a better deal on Amazing Spider-Man 252. Although, if you don't have one, it's really tempting to kind of want one now, as a lot of 9.8s are. Okay, that's the full list of 21. As I said, yeah, I'll have a list in the description below with the prices. But certainly, a lot of Star Wars books really just scorching hot, I think, right now. Certainly the Admiral Thrawn book, the Ahsoka Tano book, which, yeah, I didn't have any on this list. But still some good buys out there, I think, as well. And certainly these videos are just all about reminding everyone out there to just do a little price research, know the fair market value. All you got to do is kind of search completed listings for CGC 9.8, whatever book you want, and you get some pricing information. Go on Go Collect too, and there's GPA if you want to check that out as well. So there's a lot of resources out there, and these videos certainly, but definitely doing a little research will pay, and hopefully saves you a little bit of money, and especially if you don't end up going after all the hot books. You do some research, go after cold books. That's when you can get really good deals, I think. Okay, enough blabbering on though. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, I would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, and hit the bell for all the latest notifications. Add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. All the links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Message me on Instagram if you did have any questions. But thanks again, team, and I will see you on the next one.